From the Media One newsroom, I'm Brian Papalea, and I've got Father Luke Fodor from St. Luke's Church. You may have noticed the giant glowing star in downtown Jamestown on top of St. Luke's Church. Here's a little more about it. How big is the star, and how is it constructed?
The star was constructed by some students at the JCC welding program, and we have a parishioner who used to work at JCC and whose son went through the welding program, and so the students there said, "Oh, we'd be happy to help create that for you." And so the star itself is constructed from aluminum, and the dimensions are about 14 feet tall and 8 feet wide. The star itself, from peak to peak, is 8 feet, and there's a stand that is about 6 feet.
And how did you get it up there?
That's a good question. We tried a couple different things. We knew it wasn't that heavy. It's only about 80 pounds or so. But when you drag a 14-foot, 80-pound object up about 90 feet, it's not easy. And so we tried a couple things. We had tried to create like a boom to kind of with a pulley and all of that. And we did that at first until the rope got caught in the pulley, and then the pulley broke. And we realized, well, that's not going to work. And so we tried a couple of other different things. In the end, we ended up just using sheer manpower and grit. And about 7 or 8 guys were up on top. And we had 2 ropes attached to it, one on each side. And then we pulled it up, which was fine until we got it to the top. And at that point, you can't use ropes anymore. And so I leaned out over the parapet and kind of helped guide it up and get it unhooked from the stone a couple of times, and then get it propped up so we could flip it over.
Now, whose idea was it to do this, and what was the thinking behind it?
Yeah, I was walking down 3rd Street, knowing we were going to be in the parade, and thinking, it's a shame that the parade doesn't really pass any churches that are any downtown churches, and of course we just had our bell tower refurbished and ready to go, and the parade didn't quite pass us, and so I thought, well, we can see the church beautifully from down there, but how can the church help contribute to the parade and help bring the holiday spirit in a new sort of way? So as I was looking at it, I was like, it'd be cool if we put a star up there. And we had talked about different other things, like whether or not to make the turrets into Christmas trees with lights or whatever. And we thought, well, what's a real religious or spiritual object? And the star is an ancient image of hope. And of course, numerous people look to the paper every day for their horoscope and want to know how the stars are aligned and all of that sort of thing. But in the Christian church, the star is a sign of God's presence with us. And of course, it reveals that God is present not only is present in our very flesh, and so that's the story of Christmas, of course, that Jesus came born a child, a baby in a manger, but it was also the very embodiment of God. And so the idea of the parade, of the star being up there for the parade, was just to bring some holiday cheer, but also to help remind folks that there's always hope, even in the dark seasons, when we're really close to getting it to be the darkest night of the year, or the longest night and lots of darkness, that it's helpful to have a star. And stars, of course, whenever you look at a night sky and it's complete darkness, the more you look, the more you see little flickers of light. And we wanted to be a symbol of hope for the community. We have, of course, had some dark years, but we're looking towards the future, and there's all kinds of hope here in Jamestown. So the star in our hope is an embodiment of hope for the whole town.
And then just to kind of wrap things up, with the Christmas season here, what are the special events happening at St. Luke's that people could attend?
Sure. We have a number of events coming up for the holiday season. The first is that we have, just on the 6th, 2 events. We have an Advent Quiet Day from 10 to 1 that allows people to kind of resource themselves for the holiday season, kind of get ready for all the stress, and to just kind of have some quiet. And that'll feature poetry and some prayer. And then we'll have a St. Nicholas celebration later that night at 6 p.m., which is for mostly children who can enjoy the whole story of St. Nicholas, who, of course, was the forebearer of Santa Claus. So that's just this weekend. And then in upcoming weeks, we have a Christmas tree cutting down event on the 14th after church, where we're going to go to a parishioner's Christmas tree farm. And then on the 20th, which is a Saturday, we're going to have a special service. Christmas, of course, seems like a holly jolly time for a lot of folks, but for others, it's a really dark time when they are perhaps realizing that they're going to be facing the holiday season alone. They've just lost a spouse or a loved one, or perhaps they're in recovery, and it's a difficult season when everyone else is drinking and being merry, and they are, again, faced with their sobriety, sometimes alone. So we're having a special Blue Christmas service where we'll say special prayers and ask for healing and kind of acknowledge the pain that this holiday season can bring. That's been the 20th. And then on Christmas Eve, we will have our normal services. We'll have a 4 o'clock service, a Eucharist, with a pageant for children to come and embody the story for us. And then at 11 o'clock at night, we'll have our traditional Episcopal service with Holy Eucharist and kind of a candlelit service at night. So those are the main things. And a Christmas Day service as well at 10.
That's Father Luke Fodor from St. Luke's Church here in downtown Jamestown. If you're looking for more information, you can visit stlukesjamestown.org.